welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share with you guys how I got rid of my painful periods. I used to have debilitating, I'm talking call off work. I want to be curled in a ball all day, super heavy, super painful periods, and I had these periods like this for years. I would literally go through a pad an hour sometimes. Like, it was so painful and so heavy, and it really affected me being able to do daily activities and work and do normal everyday things. And I had at one point periods that would last 6 to 8 weeks at a time. Like, my body was just all out of whack. And so I want to share with you guys how I was able to get rid of these excruciatingly long painful periods in a natural way, and hopefully you guys may find something in this video that you can take away and be able to ease your painful periods if you have experienced this as well. Before we jump into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel, hit the notification bell for future uploads, and give me a thumbs up for this video. Before we get into the content itself, I just want to share with you guys a quick word about EmbracePangea.com. If you're watching this and you have a vagina, you need to listen up. The sponsor of today's video is EmbracePangea.com, and they have these boric acid capsules. They're called Pristine, and these will keep your pH levels balanced in your yoni. So as you know, if you have a vagina and you're watching this, you know it's a full-time job with the upkeep on this thing, okay? So whether it's what you're eating, how much water you're drinking or not drinking, who you're sleeping with, there's so many different things that can affect and throw off the pH balance in your vagina. And no one wants to be out here with a funky vagina, okay? Not for yourself, and definitely not for your partner or anybody else, right? So if your vagina is giving more than it's supposed to have gave, get the Pristine capsules. Literally, people have results with these in less than 12 hours. So if you're having vaginal odor, if you're having itching, you definitely want to check out the link down below in the description box for EmbracePangea.com. This is a natural solution because, sis, I know you ain't at a retail store getting commercial chemical filled stuff and putting it in your vagina, sis. I know you're not doing that, okay? Head over to EmbracePangea.com, pick up the Pristine, and check out their website. They have so many natural vegan options for holistic health, so definitely check them out. So for me, I had painful periods for years, and I went to gynecologist after gynecologist and doctor after doctor and specialist after specialist, and the only solution that I was provided was to be on birth control. I am anti-birth control at this point, but at the time I took the birth control, and I took various different types of pills. Some were low hormone, some were, I guess, regular hormone, and I would always have a lot of side effects from taking the birth control, but I would still have the painful long periods. So it didn't solve the issue of why I was taking the birth control. And so finally, I just got sick of the fact of like all the side effects I would have from the birth control. So I decided that I'm like, well, you know what? If it's not going to get rid of the painful periods and the long periods, there's no point in me taking it and having all these side effects, and just everything from like physical things to, like, you know, mental things. As far as like when I used to take birth control, I would feel very depressed and very sad. It would definitely alter, like, having those hormones in my body would definitely alter my mood. And so I was like, I don't want to continue taking this birth control, and I want to find out, like, why do I have these painful periods? So I finally decided, because every doctor I would go to, they would push birth control. Like, I literally had gynecologists argue with me about not wanting to take birth control. So finally I decided, you know what, I'm gonna look for a Christian doctor. I am Lutheran myself, but I wasn't so much doing this because I wanted a doctor that shared my religious beliefs, but in my mind, I thought that having a doctor that was Christian might maybe have a little bit more, be open to other types of, you know, options. And that if I told a Christian doctor that no, I don't want to take birth control, that they might listen to me a little bit more. So that's what I did. And I found this doctor, and mind you, prior to this, to back up a little bit, prior to this, I had been told that I had PCOS at one point. I had been told I had endometriosis at one point, and I never had a consistent diagnosis going from doctor to doctor, right? And I never felt like I was really listened to, that they really like took a deep dive into things. I kind of felt like, you're black, you're overweight, so you check the boxes of having PCOS, like that, because there are some women who are African American and overweight, and they find it common that they have PCOS. So I felt like I wasn't being looked at. I was just kind of being put in a box based off of my demographic, right? So I went to this doctor. Dr. Rogan was amazing, and he was the first gynecologist that sat me down and said, he did testing. He did a lot of testing, and then he set me down in his office. He said, you don't have PCOS. I don't know where they got that from. He's like, I've reviewed their records, and I've reviewed the ultrasound that we did, and he literally set me down and showed me, like, this is what your ovaries look like if you have PCOS, and this is what yours look like. It's nothing alike. So that's not the issue. I said, okay, like, that's great that I don't have PCOS, but like, what's the issue? And he was like, honestly, I think that it's your weight. Now, mind you, I had never had a single gynecologist. Honestly, I know I'm fluffy. I know I need to lose some weight. But I never had a gynecologist tie the two together, as silly as that sounds. No one ever really said, like, your weight is the issue, and really had, you know, any treatment plan based upon that. It was always, take these hormones, take these hormones, take these hormones, or let me insert some foreign device inside of your body. And if you participate in using birth control, more power to you. This is just my personal experience. I'm not telling you guys to do anything. I'm just giving you what my experience was, okay? So I saw him, and then he said, you need to work on your weight. So I started working on my weight, and guess what? As I lost more weight, my periods improved, right? And they still weren't like a normal period, but it wasn't as painful. I began being able to do more regular activities. I still had some pain, but it was nowhere near as severe, and it was nowhere near as heavy, right? And I still have a lot more weight to lose, but just losing 30 or so pounds really helped my period, right? So fast forward, I see a different doctor because I ended up moving. I see a different doctor, and my current doctor, she agreed with the weight diagnosis. And what was great about her was that they actually have a nutritionist on staff. So I was already seeing a nutritionist outside of that, right? But this gynecologist had a nutritionist on staff, right? And this nutritionist specializes in women's health, right? So it's not just like a general nutritionist. It's a nutritionist that deep dives into plans and things that affect people that are either having painful periods or having fertility issues or are trying to get ready to have a baby, like I am, right? So they actually specialize in these things, right? So there are certain foods that made my periods worse. So when I sat down and I met with this nutritionist, she said, okay, it's great, you're losing weight, you're on the right track with that. What are you eating? So when I talked to her about what I was eating, she was like, okay, like you're in a calorie deficit, that's great, but there's more to it than that, right? It's also what you're eating. So she was like, you need to, you know, cut out dairy. And I was already like, you know, kind of getting to that point where I started doing like diet elimination, where I would eliminate certain foods from my diet, and I literally have a book where I write down like how I'm feeling when I eliminate certain foods, right? So So she kind of confirmed what I was already thinking. So she was like, you need to limit cheese, you need to eliminate dairy, and you need to limit your meat products. And she was like, if you really are someone who loves cheese, she was like, if you're gonna do cheese, you need to do cheese that's low in lactose. So like harder cheeses, so like a Parmesan versus like say a mozzarella or something like that, right? And like now I'm to the point where I have pretty much eliminated cheese from my diet. I don't drink milk. So I've eliminated those things. So now if I drink milk, I have coconut milk or almond milk. And I have seen such a great improvement by cutting down or cutting out dairy in my diet. Because like literally not even just with my periods, they're not painful like that anymore. I have some light cramping here and there, but nothing like it was before. Literally getting rid of, excluding cheese and milk and things like that from my diet like helps so much. I have also dramatically cut down, not vegan or vegetarian, but I have cut down on the meat that I eat. So at this point, my diet looks a lot more, I eat meat. I used to eat meat like at every meal, right? Like meat has to be in every meal. Now, I don't even eat meat every day. There are many days where, sometimes many weeks where I don't eat meat at all. Where but I'm still eating meat products, you know what I mean? Like, so I'll eat eggs and things like that. So it is one thing where I have been thinking about transitioning to eliminating meat products altogether, but that's just where I'm at personally right now. And just doing what I've done so far, I've seen such a great improvement. So again, don't know that I will completely eliminate meat, but definitely reducing the amount of meat, especially red meats, and eliminating dairy helped me greatly. So what I would suggest to you guys is that to really look at your diet, look at what you're eating. If you're eating a lot of dairy, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, if you're eating a lot of red meat, try to reduce that as much as possible. I would suggest looking into like diet elimination. Of course, consult with a doctor. I really suggest people talk to a nutritionist, especially if you are struggling with something like this. I suggest talking to a nutritionist. But I would suggest trying to do some type of elimination diet where you really look at the foods that you're eating and subtracting certain foods and see how you feel. Like, you can literally do this yourself. If you can't afford to go to a nutritionist right now, or you don't have the time, you can literally start with things like that. See how you feel if you eliminate cheese from your diet. See how you feel if you eliminate caffeine from your diet. Different things affect different people differently, you know, so you kind of have to play around with it. But diet is so huge. It's so huge. And definitely reducing your weight, and everyone, like my doctor explained to me, everyone has a different set point, let's say, right? Like some people, they can be 20 pounds over their ideal weight and they'll have problems with their periods. You have people that can be underweight and have problems. You have people who might not have a problem till they're 50 or 100 pounds over their ideal weight, right? So it can happen at different times for different people. So you just want to kind of be more aware of what you're putting into your diet, because it does play an effect with your hormones and it does play an effect with your body. So just wanted to put that on you guys' minds. I am on my fertility journey, and part of that for me is losing a lot more weight. I want to be at a healthy weight before I have my baby, and I'm going to do another video going into all of that. But periods and having a regular period and ovulating regularly, and that's another thing, I have been able to ovulate regularly, whereas I wasn't previously when I was at a heavier weight. So these are all things that kind of play into the fertility picture, so I thought it was very important to come and talk to you guys about that. And you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you take something away from it, and hopefully it would help you to think a little bit more critically about what you're putting into your body and how it's affecting certain things. You know, I am so much more conscious of how my diet affects my period, how my diet affects my skin, how it affects my energy levels, just everything, how your body smells. Like literally, when you eat certain things, your body smells a certain way. Like just really being more in tune with your body, you know. So I would highly recommend you know, trying some of these things out. Let me know down below in the comments if you have ever experienced a painful period, and if you ever tried any of these tips or plan to. Also, make sure you check out the sponsor of today's video, which is embracepangea.com. They have their pristine tablets, their capsules that will help keep your yoni fresh. So definitely make sure to check out embracepangea.com. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon for another video. Bye.